Hi, now we were showing you before how to integrate WatsonX.AI models with Apache NiFi, Cloudera DataFlow, and we saw it was extremely easy. Now, some new models came out from IBM that I've been really excited about. So I wanted to give them a test ride, and I was using their prompt lab, which is a really easy way to explore the models and also give you access to API behind the scenes that we use for NiFi. So these two new models, fast, very clean. So I wanted to give them a test run. You could see them listed here, the Granite chat and Granite Instruct. So I logged into my IBM Cloud account and I went to the prompt lab and just started trying them out. What's cool is once you figured out what you like, get your instructions and whatever you need to feed it, you could see the code behind the scenes with the curl and everything. Well, if I've got that, really easy to run that in NiFi. So that's pretty much what I did. Now I had an existing use case which could use some AI enhancement. And while I'm in there, I cleaned up some other stuff and added some new features. And this one actually is kind of useful now. So this is pretty awesome. So I like to get the travel advisories from the US government before I go traveling. Now I could just go to their website, search or scroll or do some kind of manual effort. And they've got it all here in RSS format. I can pull that into an RSS reader. Sure, I could do a lot of cool stuff like that manually, but I have NiFi. I'm not doing manual anymore. So I'm grabbing that RSS endpoint here, and I'm going to take that really ugly RSS, convert it to JSON, and flatten it, squish it, clean it, pull it apart, take out the fields I want, flatten them, make them a lot cleaner. For me, this one was important is to put all the categories into one because I don't need four different categories, which are very sparse, randomly populated. Just give it to me in one field. Clean out some of the junk they put in there. There's blank lines, there's HTML, all kind of weird white space, HTML4. Don't need any of that. So I get this, and let's run it again just to show you it running. So I have this running, and now it's all converting it. And I can look at the data provenance to see how it changes. It told me the content modified. I could see it changed a little bit. And okay, this is the fields we have right now. I mean, these are okay, but sometimes there's four, sometimes there's one. So I flatten that out before we take that data for real. And I send that into my second part of the flow, which is going to send it to Kafka and to chat if we want to send it to chat. Also, I could email this. There was people telling me, for certain use cases, they want to subscribe to a country. So I tested this out. Now, if I can act as a mail server for testing, so I could just send myself email, and then when I get the email, send it to a Slack. Yeah, I guess we will do that once just to show you. But just to show you the art of the possible, there's not much we can't do with NiFi. Act as a mail server, HTTP server, REST endpoint, whatever. So we get that message in our mail, and we sent mail and convert it into Slack. Pretty straightforward. So we could do that with our data. Again, probably don't do that every time. I've got this control rate to slow things down. Otherwise, all 500 messages happen instantly. And if I'm doing something like FLaNK here, I want to be able to see the data coming in. I mean, to me, it's a better demo to be able to see, oh, a new line came in, another record. And that got converted into a materialized view. And behind the scenes, I can see the running FLaNK job, and I can see more records being added to it. Again, this is for demo. In the real world, I am not putting on any kind of rate limiting unless the downstream system is really slow and can't handle it. So that's coming in as those new records come in. Now, the next part of this that we're doing is I have a database that I want to put records into, and that's a DB2 database. It could have been other kind of database like Postgres, or it could have put it into Kudu or Iceberg or Hive or Impala, lots of different data stores, Mongo, you name it. I could send them to all those data stores at once, any JDBC store, JMS, Pulsar, wherever. This is just an example. I happen to have a DB2 instance available, so I'm like, we'll send the data there too. So that's sending the data there as those records are coming in, and we could just check those, make sure we're getting them. If we look here, I've got a table set up. I use this demo for my change data capture. So I could turn that on. So while we're adding it, it changes over there. Lots of stuff we could do. I got basic fields here. And because of AI, I added this new field summary that I'm going to have AI generate for me. So for most of the records, as we're getting inserted, this is what they have: a title, a description, all that metadata from the RSS. But a couple of them, right now, only 3, have this summary. And the summary was created by AI for me, thanks to the power of Watson XAI and NiFi together. So we got that data going in there. But let's go to the main event here. So we'll pretend these are on different servers, as they usually are. One might be on premise, one in the cloud. So here I'm going to read those travel advisories, make sure they're nice and cleaned up. And then I'm going to send that data to WatsonX. As you see here, I've got it paused. So we got it out of Kafka. And I'm just going to make sure we have that data. Like here, I'm just going to run once just to have it coming through our system. I clean it up. If you see here, just grabbing advisor ID and inputs, since I want to be able to do my updates later. So I'm going to call WatsonX to get a secure token using a secure key that I set up in my cloud. And we could go through that if you really wanted to. So I pull that token out, and then I build up a new document to call that model. Again, that Granite Instruct model. Couple different parameters telling you what you need to do there, what project I'm running in. And this is the text that I grabbed from the travel advisory. So we call that endpoint in IBM Cloud securely, get the results back, and start getting them ready for our use here. It generated some text. It's encoded, so I want to unencode that, do some converts, add a couple extra fields here. I'm adding that advisor ID so I can map it for that summary, clean up that generated text, put the inputs that I originally put in there. Now, there's a shortcut I put in there to make a summarization happen. I add this to whatever comes in, and I could feed this by Slack or somewhere else, but I'm using those travel advisories. And then I'm just going to send that to Kafka if anyone else wants to use it, and send a copy over to Slack along with some metadata so I could track how the model's doing. And we could take a look at that over here. That one is in Slack, and you can see it arrived. That's the date. This is the prompt we set in. This is the summary we got out. And all the metadata on how long it took and what we called, all that kind of fun stuff. So we got that out. We send it to Kafka. Let's make sure that went to Kafka. Let's make sure we got some new records here. And we could see we got the new record in Kafka for IBM. That's great. And I could share that in their cloud and use it for other apps, load it to Hive, Iceberg, all kinds of fun stuff. I also, when I'm taking that data, I'm building up new records so that I can do a SQL call against DB2 again. And basically what I want to do is update the travel advisory for these two fields so I can add that summary. So if I go here and run this, I get another one because we're running one at a time. Again, I don't know if I have infinite cloud spend. This runs so fast. It seems like it should be free. And if I have the same call going twice, it's going to be cached. So it's not going to cost as much. So it's pretty fast. But yeah, this is running through the system, doing all this, combining NiFi, Kafka, FLaNK, WatsonX.AI, cool LLM models, doing that all at pretty high scale. Whoa, we'll see if we can do 240 concurrent models. It's going to happen really fast. But just to give you an idea, all the source code is documented here in GitHub. So give it a try, reach out if you have any questions. And I definitely recommend trying out these new Granite Foundation models. They are pretty amazing. The summarization is really nice, really fast, everything you can want.